Falcon fans, welcome to another Atlanta Falcon Fandemic moment. You're on with your host, Manuel McFarland, and today I'm finally going to lay out my reasonable expectations for the 2024 Atlanta Falcons. Um, having conversations with several people. Everyone has their viewpoint on how we're going to end up with this build of a team that we have, and I've heard everything from we're gonna bust to we have a chance to show up in the Super Bowl, not win it, but end up back in the Super Bowl. But after the draft and selecting undrafted free agents and shopping the free agency, this offseason it's been filled with important key changes and key additions. But Terry Fontenot has this team once again looking like more than contenders on paper. However, he took it a step further and he added a young man to lead this team that everyone respects, and that's Raheem Morris. But there are other things that I considered when I laid out my expectations for Atlanta. But before I get into that, if you haven't already done so, please take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel for even more Atlanta Falcons content. Share it with your friends and other Falcon fans you know, and as always, it is much appreciated. But we're not going to talk about last season because everything that went wrong, it was only one person to blame, and that was the captain at that time, Arthur Smith. He took on the role of play calling. It didn't work out for us. So everything from lack of using Drake London. Well, he used Drake London pretty good bit, but lack of Bijan Robinson use, lack of Kyle Pitts. So he has the shoulder to blame. Even the abysmal play of Desmond Ritter, he had to shoulder that blame as well. Because he didn't do what I expected him to do, and that was bring that young man along, bring in a quarterback coach to get him to the point where we all thought that he was fully capable of getting to. But anyway, we have a new guy now, Coach Raheem Morris, and like a rookie quarterback, Coach Morris went and learned. He sat and he coached with some of the best offensive minds in the game, and now he brings that experience back to the Atlanta Falcons, back where it all started, so to speak. Anyway, he already had the respect of his team, other coaches, as well as the administration. So there's no breaking in point of getting to know people. Everybody knows and respect him. Coach Raheem is that guy you would give your all to without him even having to ask. So with that type of coaching, my expectations going into this season is a little higher than what I had with Dan Quinn. But after three straight 7-10 seasons, the need for a big change was evident, and that change came by way of our new head coach Raheem Morris, the unexpected signing of Kirk Cousins, the really unexpected drafting of Michael Penix Jr. By and everyone knows I'm on record as I wasn't a full supporter of Kirk Cousins initially. I loved the Michael Penix pick for several reasons. I was against it for several reasons too. But looking into it after everything is settled down, I do realize it was probably one of the best decisions that Terry Fontenot has made this year. A very important decision, as a matter of fact. But what I like about Terry is that he stands on business. He makes a decision. He already made his plan, and he's sticking to it. He's not letting no distractions come in. The distractions that we had of available DNs to the Chicago Bears pick, to the Chicago Bears wanting us to draft Justin Fields. He stuck to his plans. He didn't let the media get involved and to alter those plans. So I like what Terry is doing. He's standing on business. He's sticking to his guns. He's building his team, and so far the teams look like I just said, more than just contenders on paper. But like back to Kirk Cousins, for my more in depth reason as to why I fell on board with him. You will have to go back and look at one of my other videos. Matter of fact, it's one of my first videos that I did, and it was entitled "Why Oh Why Kirk Cousins," and it's on YouTube at Atlanta Falcon Pandemic. And if you go take a look at it, and the information that I provided in that video, a lot of you will probably change your mind about Kirk Cousins being here, because I did like in depth. Um, I did it with numbers. I did it with actions. So hopefully by the time you get through watching that video, you will understand why Kirk Cousins was the perfect signing for us this year too, and well, a perfect signing for us. So we'll check it out. Why oh why Kirk Cousins on YouTube, Atlanta Falcon Pandemic. But it hasn't been since the 2008 season that the Falcons started the season with a new face at both head coach and quarterback. So we have to go all the way back to 2008, where Matt Ryan was drafted and Mike Smith was brought in. So, and that turned out pretty well. That relationship turned out pretty well. Matt Ryan ended up giving us 14 seasons, 14 seasons, 15 seasons. But anyway, they were good seasons. We just kind of fell short in areas, and we didn't quite hit the goals that we so earnestly wanted. But there were plenty of reasons to raise my expectations about what we can accomplish this season. But also a few questions still remain. So what exactly should be the defined expectation for Atlanta in 2024? So let's go all the way back to Coach Raheem's first inaugural press conference when he said, "We have to outrun the South." And he said it again in his first team meeting to begin the OTAs back in April. The table was set then what the team can expect from coaching staff and their leadership overall. Outrun the South, it should be our rallying cry this year. It should be that focus. That's where all our focus should be. If we outrun the South, outrun the division, our plans will fall in place. And as Hannibal Smith says on the 18, love it when a plan comes together. But like I said, outrunning the South is and should be our rallying cry. But at this point in time, all the key changes and all the additions, there is no reason why the Falcons shouldn't sit atop the NFC South. However, if we aren't atop the South, I mean, something catastrophic would have had to happen for us not to be up there. And I mean something drastic. I don't see Tampa Bay, Carolina, or the Saints doing anything to interrupt that. We may split games with them, but I don't see anybody giving us contention for that number one spot in the division. Now, I'm not saying that this season will be a cakewalk for us. We still have to show up and play, especially when it comes down to teams like the Eagles, the Chiefs, and even Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay gets a little, get beside themselves, so to speak, and we'll end up splitting the game with them. But they proved last season that they can win. However, they did lose a lot on defense, and that defense actually contributed to a lot of their wins. But I mean, like I said, we still have to show up and play every game. I mean, even against the Cow, as much as I hate to say it, we still got to come in and play against those Cowboys. They're about as sneaky as but I think we're gonna beat the Cowboys this year. I will be there in full force. It's one game I would not miss. I would not miss that game. I despise the Cowboys and have despised them since '82. And and those of you that have been around that long knows what happened in 1982. But that's another story and for another video. Bottom line is, and not considering the team that I've just mentioned, we have to take care of business in the division. Winning the division is priority. Winning the division is priority. And with Kirk Cousins and the cast that he has, it's very achievable. Now, last season, a 9-8 record proved to be good enough to win a division. And in 2022, an 8-9 record got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into the postseason. Although I believe we'll surely surpass both of those records, That division title is well within our reach, despite what many naysayers have said. Y'all got to remember we missed postseason by one game last year, by one game. So I'm, like Coach Raheem Morris said, if it was better quarterback play, he wouldn't be here. With Kirk Cousins, he surpasses the expectation of a great a better quarterback play. Uh, I think with Kirk Cousins, that it easily adds four more wins to that 7-10 season we had last season. So I'm not going to shortchange him and saying we're going to win 10 games. No, I'm going above that. I'm going 13-4, maybe even 14-3. I mean, I don't think. I think the tough run will be at the beginning of the season, and hopefully we can sneak a couple of wins that a lot of people didn't expect us to win at the beginning. Because once we get into that week 4 through 10, I think we're going to go on a run. I mean, I truly do. Uh, but to capture the division, the Falcons will need to be in midseason form and operating like a well-oiled machine with very few mental mistakes before the first couple of months passes us up. Once we get into that to the first month, a 2-2 record will only be satisfactory. I mean, it's not bad considering the team that we played in the first 4 games. So, but realistically, we shouldn't be anything less than 3-1. I mean, that's just my expectation. A lot of people may disagree with that, but that's just my expectation. 3-1 is very achievable, especially what we have. If that's the case, like I said, going into week 4 through 10, we should be able to go down that list and circle wins in our favor after that. Also, in those weeks is where we'll send a message to the division that the title belongs to us. And that time, we will face the New Orleans Saints in weeks 4 through 10. We'll face the New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice, and the Panthers once. At this point, if the team is relatively healthy, the team chemistry across the board is building or at its peak, and we should be very successful to close the season. And as Coach Morris likes to say, once we get into the playoffs, anything can happen. And Atlanta hasn't seen a winning record in the playoffs since 2017, when we went 10-6 and lost the division round to the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's be clear: just because we have a winning record, that alone does not guarantee us a bid into the playoffs. A winning record, however, is the step in the right direction. So our aim should be higher than just winning record, which is primarily the reason why Kirk Cousins was brought in. With that in mind, this takes us back to outrunning the South. While we still have the easiest schedule on paper this season, we still need to work out any and all kinks before we get anywhere near the postseason. Remember, the division title came down to the final regular season game last year, but our expectations is for it to get solidified earlier than that. So we need to earn our spot earlier than that last game of the season. We don't want to get anywhere near being a wild card team. Nowhere near it. If we end up as a wild card team in the playoffs, I mean, I would consider that to be subpar. I wouldn't exactly call it a failure, but at the same time, my expectation is going to be a little higher than most people, primarily because of Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins, and not saying Matt Ryan couldn't have done it, but I think Kirk Cousins, like Matt Ryan did in 2016, distributes that ball. If Matt Ryan had did that consistently through the years, I would say that he has a heads up on Kirk Cousins. But I think Kirk Cousins distributes the ball better than Matt Ryan. Now, Matt Ryan ended up with all the yards, but consistently, Kirk Cousins hit that 4,000-yard mark. And he did it 7 out of the 12 seasons that he's been in the NFL. So I like that odd. This season, I like the odds even better, and I'm looking at 5,000 yards plus for Kirk Cousins, and that's just my honest assessment. Um, like I said, we're not looking for him to, especially with that injury, to looking him to be running all over the field. We need him to orchestrate orchestrate the offense, and drive that ball down the field, and hopefully we can do that passing, and do a little run mixture too. But hopefully we become like that 2016 team, and we just, almost look like a spread offense pretty much. But Atlanta plays all but one of its division games by week 10. After that, 4 of the last 7 games are against AFC teams, making it harder if we are trying to squeeze into a wild card spot if it comes down to that. So we have to settle things at the beginning of the season rather than at the later part. But that way we get to control our destiny, so to speak. So if we go ahead and solidify our playoff spot early, like I said, we control our destiny. There'll be nothing that can stop us. Nobody in the division, because we already have the division won. But keep in mind, we, just like any other team, have things to get worked out, and us having a new offensive system, a new defensive system, a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, a new starting quarterback, uh, and not just a new quarterback, but one that's coming off an Achilles injury. One plus though is that we have a core of skilled players that has played together for at least one season, and those players: Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and let's not forget about Tyler Algier, who beyond who supported this crew far better than expected. I mean, uh, you almost have to say we have a dual threat. When it comes to adding the Tyler Algier in there, and we have to find a way to get him used more often. Tyler Algier showed last season that when called upon, he's ready. He will always be ready. I think the following season, 2025, we're going to have to make a decision about Tyler Algier. I hope it does not come down to that. I hope the will to win, the possibility of going to the Super Bowl, outweighs the money. But y'all know what money do for us. So, but anyway, not saying he don't deserve it, but at the same time, or wouldn't deserve it, but at the same time, uh, you know, getting your name solidified in history as finally winning the Super Bowl with the Falcons could outweigh the money. But now, if Kirk Cousins can get this new offense of Atlanta to develop that chemistry like Matt Ryan did in 2016, this team can potentially, let me say that again, this team can potentially be better than that 2016 Super Bowl team. Now, of course, Kyle Shanahan had a lot to do with that success, which is one of the reasons why I'm not saying that Zach Robinson won't be able to get it done, but at the same time, he is a first-year play caller, first-year offensive coordinator. So it's not say suspect, but it's kind of skeptical. I'm kind of skeptical about it, but I got faith in him. I'm gonna have faith in him that he has learned as much as Coach Raheem Morris did. Both of them shared the same journey over there with the Rams. So I think he's gonna live up to it. He has to set the standard for himself. He has to not let about like Terry Fontenot and his game planning. Let nobody interrupt it. Now I know Kirk Cousins is that very experienced veteran, and hopefully he'll take that experience and put it in use on the field, and work with Zach Robinson, and hope between both of those two, they get that chemistry that we need on that offensive side of the ball. We need it over the whole throughout the whole team, but we more so need it on the offensive side of the ball, and I think Kirk Cousins can get that done. He has so many weapons now. He's like a kid in a candy store. He's the time that he spent over at Minnesota. He only had one weapon, true weapon, and that was Jefferson. So, and he almost hit that 4,000 yard mark, or did he hit the 4,000? He may have done that. I think he did hit the 4,000 mark, or on his way to it, and he only had one weapon. So now he has his multiple guys at his disposal that can catch that ball for him. Not saying that any of these are better than Jefferson, but as a group, I think Kirk Cousins can, get closer to that 5,000 yard mark, if not more. I think he can get that done. It would definitely be interesting to see how Zach Robinson use and accommodate this very talented group that we have this year. Um, every skill position has a guy there that demands the ball and can perform once they get that ball in their hands. Uh, Drake London already said he has a bitter taste in his mouth from last season, and that's not nothing negative. I think he just felt like he didn't get the ball enough, and he felt like he could have produced more. And I totally agree. I mean, he could have done a whole lot more. Uh, but in order for us to return to the playoffs, players like Drake London, Bijan Robinson, we know will contribute. We know they'll be there, and will be relied upon. But we must, and there's an emphasis on must, get players like Kyle Pitts and Tyler Algier involved early and often. Tyler Algier and Kyle Pitts are going to be key, especially when we get down into the red zone, or maybe a little further out, but especially when we get down in there. That red zone has been our Achilles heel for years. Uh, third downs, uh, red zone scoring, and I think Kyle Pitts and Tyler Algier are going to be key in those two situations. Uh, but this team has been built, and it has been built to return to the playoffs. And that plan has been put in play by Terry Fontenot. But this is the baseline of expectation for the Falcons this season. I believe that's more than fair, and especially in a division like ours. My personal prediction and expectation is that we go and contend for the conference championship and win it. Many naysayers have said that the playoffs is our ceiling, but round one, we're out of here. They have no faith in us going past round one. They say we probably get there. You have a lot of people, even fans, that says that we will not even get to the playoffs. And the ones that say we do get to the playoffs, that we're going to be out round one. That we are a playoff contender, but isn't a true Super Bowl threat. I don't know. I don't know. I like our odds with the team that we have now, the offense that we have. I mean, I don't get the shortcoming prediction of how we stand as a team. I mean, I get it. I get it. We've looked good on paper for a long time. We just haven't put it together to put the wins together, get back into the playoffs. But I think this team here has been built to get to the playoffs, and I'm relying heavily on Kirk Cousins for that reason, to get to the playoffs. Now, Kirk Cousins doesn't have a whole lot of playoff experience, no. But at the same time, with the weapons that he has, I think the odds are greater than he has had in the past. Just my personal opinion. Now, that isn't saying that our Atlanta offense won't be fun to watch or we won't defy some odds. But what's pointed out is our secondary outside of A.J. Terrell and Jesse Bates. A lot of people say they're questionable, and the unanswered talent we have at edge rush. They're saying that A.J. Terrell and Jesse Bates are our only solid pieces, which may very well be true. But if they play anywhere close to what they did last season, I think Clark Phillips, Michael Hughes, I think they'll all eat. I think they'll eat. I think because of A.J. Terrell's play and Jesse Bates, it opens up for opportunity for Clark or Mike Hughes, players of that sort to get in and make some plays. Mike Hughes made a bunch of plays last year too, but he also showed his youth. So hopefully he has learned a lot. He's studied a lot. He can come back in and that's if he's still around. Michael Hughes could be on not invited back, but I think he'll be here to stay. I would like for him to stay because he's young and he has a lot to learn, and his ceiling is here. So I mean, like I said, he made some good plays last year. I mean, some real good plays, but he also, like I said, he showed some youth where he missed some tackles or got caught out of positions, and so hopefully he's learned that. I'm counting on Jesse Bates to have, and will step in and lead this this defensive unit. Uh, we lost Calais Campbell, who I thought we would keep for at least one more year. Calais Campbell was that glue that kept that defense together. I think his leadership, veteran leadership, it was very well needed. Um, Grady Jarrett is a veteran, but I don't think he's that. He's kind of quiet and laid back. Not like Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell is a lot more energetic, involved, and he's like a rallying point of veteran leadership. So I was hoping would be able to keep him at least for one more year. But I'm looking for Jesse Bates to take over that duty. I know we got Malone and Ebiketie and Lorenzo, but I'm thinking Jesse Bates is going to be the glue on the defense. Uh, Whether or not the Falcons can deliver on the expectations all depends on your definition. So, what is your definition of your expectations? If that means making the playoff, Atlanta is going to get there. We're going to deliver on that. So, with that being said, what is your take for Atlanta to go above and beyond the expected expectations? Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Have I set my expectations too high? Am I being realistic or am I way off? Now, when you comment, let me know what your expectations are. Will we make the playoffs? Will we be out year one? Or do we make Coach Raheem's statement, once we get into the playoffs, there's no telling where we'll go, an adequate prediction? Fellow fans, once again, if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe to my channel, and tell all your friends to come join. Until next time, on this same Falcon channel, you know how we do it. Continue to rise up. This is Emmanuel with Atlanta Falcons Pandemic, signing off. Peace.